Good evening, cult members, and welcome to Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And welcome to a few of the weeks late. Okay, catch up. We're going to catch up on
Okay.
Daredevil episodes 6, 7, and 8, 7, 8, 9,
7, 8, 9.
7, 8, 9. Mostly, we're going to be talking about the finale this week called Straight to Hell. We get the final version of Daredevil being back in this. We missed the 2 previous weeks doing our review. 1 week we were sore feet still walking through Disneyland on Tuesday.
Yes.
And then the following week we watched the episode, but sickness had run through our house because we had been on vacation. And so there was a lot of just laying on the couch and going, ooh, that was cool. I want to talk about those 2 weeks before we get into this real briefly, because it kind of sets up everything. Episode 7, Muse attacks Heather. Heather kills him. There's a whole bunch of conversations going on about what he was doing, who he was doing it for, all of that stuff going around. I'm not going to get into that here because I just don't have the time, really.
Right.
But for me, the big thing for that was they killed him off very quickly.
Yeah.
I really thought that Muse was going to be the thing hanging over the city for 5-6 weeks, even into next season.
Yeah. Kind of the big bad.
Yeah. And he was mentioned in like background news articles and discussions and stuff, but he was never. So I just thought his time was very short. With all of that. And then last week's episode was Poindexter getting out, thinking he was going on another mission, which is something that he does in the comics. He goes in the Gen Pop, calls for Matt. Matt bangs his head on the desk a couple times. He breaks his tooth out, shoots it. If you want to have a really fun kind of 15 minutes, listen to Eric on New Rockstars talk about the physics involved of shooting a tooth out of your mouth fast enough to kill someone. And then they're doing the mayor's ball, where Fisk is full Kingpin in the white suit. So it was a black and white ball. Vanessa shows up in the red dress because she's got to be that. And it's a repeat. That whole scene is almost shot-for-shot repeat of their wedding. And season 3 from the Netflix version. Poindexter gets there, takes a shot at Fisk, and Matt steps in front of it.
Right. Which Matt doesn't even know why he did it.
Yeah, because it's Matt, and he's...
But, yeah. He would have just... I mean, the series would have been over, so...
Right. And that's... let's be honest. Vincent Kingpin, but specifically Vincent D'Onofrio, can't go out like a punk like that. Yeah, like, he got shot in the face by Echo.
Yeah.
And...
Yeah.
And it bounced it like I think he's immune to bullets is what it comes down to.
Well, it took out his eye, didn't it?
Yeah, and they replaced it. That's something straight from the comics, and
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. Just fun fact, the girl that plays Echo is pregnant with her second child, and she's been so much fun on
nice.
Instagram talking to her oldest son, doing sign, and today it was he was trying dragon fruit for the first time, and so he was like looking at it, and she would like talk to him with her hand, because she's actually really deaf in real life. So she would talk to him, and he would like nom, 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 nom. And then the one yesterday was her kind of announcing that she was pregnant, so she had her shirt up so she could show her belly, and he walked over and kissed her belly.
Aww.
Yeah. So she's been a lot of fun to watch on Instagram. All of that leads up to this episode, the culmination of this season. First, I really loved this season, even with the changes that they ended up doing for the better that we have been talking about.
Yes. I mean, it was... There was some clunkiness. It didn't completely ruin it for me.
Right, and that's why I brought it up.
Just mostly for me, like pacing. Like it's super slow and then it's super fast and then it's super slow, and you're
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
doing the Daredevil thing. So I am excited to see the next half of this season, the next whatever they're calling it, when they don't have all of that and they
Yeah.
can just
Yeah.
do what we all are here to watch them do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think overall, initially I couldn't see where they did the changes, but as the season went along, like you're saying, there's like some changes in this, like the tone and the pacing,
Yeah.
and it became very obvious to me. Partly because I was looking for it. Normally, it's something I don't normally look for, but I
Yeah.
was looking for it. But with that being said, I think overall they did a great job with this season.
Yeah, yeah.
Like just making it all work together. Part of the reason why I love this series so much and why I love the original series so much was the Sherlock level games that Kingpin plays.
Yeah.
And what Vanessa was playing, because it came out in the previous episode that Vanessa's the one who hired Bullseye to take out Foggy and
Yep.
his client.
Right.
And we found out in this episode that it's because of the stuff that was going on at Red Hook. Red Hook itself is a free port. It's not
Right.
under anybody's jurisdiction. So they could do all kinds of stuff. And
Which makes the whole, like, this was the nice, like, okay, this loose end and this loose end, let's tie that up, and this loose end and this, and
yeah.
so we got answers to all that. Like, Fisk finally kind of explaining to Vanessa that you were making millions for us running the family, the syndicate, whatever, and now I am mayor and we're gonna make billions. And she's like, okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I like that they kept that close to the vest the entire time. Because of all the other stuff that they were doing with specifically with Vanessa kind of maybe had a smaller role in the previous version of the show.
Yeah.
They had to kind of slow roll some of that stuff until they got to this point for the big reveal of after Dex shoots at Fisk and Matt takes the bullet. Vanessa and Wilson have confab in the office, and he's wearing his white suit with the red. He gets red on every suit, every white. Stop wearing white. Wear red. Like, follow your wife.
Right.
She's still shaking, and he's like, I knew the entire time. I've known the entire time. This is the plan. This was the plan.
Yep.
That to take control of this city. Oh, and make Red Hook my own personal bank account.
Yep.
And you could see, like, Vanessa just does this great job of just like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm so hot for you right now. Matt wakes up in the hospital and calls for Karen when Heather is standing there.
Yeah.
Awkward.
Awkward.
And that's not a romantic thing with him and Karen. We'll get into the Karen stuff in a bit, but that's
it was.
It was at one point in time, but at this point in time, that's not it. It's he's woken up in the hospital multiple times before Heather, and it's Karen that's there.
Yeah. And I kind of feel like, he, like, this whole season, the only person in his life that knew that he was Daredevil was his retired cop
Yeah.
PI guy.
Yeah.
And he was not happy with him every time. Like, he was really not happy with him every time that Daredevil, made a small appearance. And Foggy and Karen, could kind of be the same way, but they all still, like, loved him, which is kind of Karen's speech at the end.
Yeah,
Like, I know you. I know, I know everything. So...
And the light in the dark.
Yeah, and so I think that Matt's just kind of been lost. Like, the people that mean the most to him in his life right now don't know.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't understand his struggle. They're like, and Heather has been, masked vigilantes are a bunch of little boys,
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up.
And,
yeah.
And so, like, nobody is there to, I don't know if support him is the right, but at least understands him.
His friends, his love interest Heather, Kristen McDuffie, his partner, his law firm partner.
Yep.
The two of them, like, they care for him. They are there for Matt. And they have no idea about the Daredevil stuff.
Right, and so they get mad at him or frustrated with him.
Right. And Karen and Foggy had already been through that stage with him.
Yeah.
And learned, like, kind of how to deal with all of that. And the two of them don't know, although I think we're going to find out in the next season because we have theories on who the army is. But when he wakes up and he calls for Karen and Heather's just like, leads to her going to Fisk's office and accepting the job of the council, the
mental health.
Yeah, but it's like the head counselor of mental health for the city or something like that.
Yeah, the head of the office of mental health or something like that.
Yeah. Just falling into Fisk's trap, by the way. So she's, I won't say done with Matt. I won't say she's done with Matt, but she, especially once she finds out why Matt is the way he is. And she will.
Yeah.
Like, Heather is a huge person in the comics.
Yeah.
In the later runs and stuff. And so, like, she comes around. She will come around. But right now, of course he's frustrated with Matt because he's been flaking on her. And then when he wakes up from being shot by defending the jerk who he just spent 10 minutes telling her he's coming after me through you, and then he defends him by taking a bullet for him.
Yeah.
So she's like, of course I'm done with you. Bye. And so I think that was just, I love that they really, like, let that scene play out.
Yeah.
For everything that they had to wrap up and try to set up for the next season. 1.5, whatever they're going to call the next season.
Right.
I like that they spent that time in the hospital room.
Yeah.
Specifically, too, about Matt talking about Foggy was on to something. Vanessa's the one who asked for the hit, talking to Kristen McDuffie. And Heather is sitting back there going, oh my God, you just can't give it up, like the whole time.
Yeah.
And so it would have been easy to kind of wade past that.
Gloss over it.
Yeah, gloss over. That's
and at least Kristen, like, listened to him. Like, let him kind of go through, Foggy was celebrating and kind of, and bounce off instead of being like Heather and kind of blowing him off. So that was nice, at least.
Fisk calls for the power company of the city of New York to shut the power off because he's using the attempt on his life to get what he ultimately wants, which is absolute martial complete control.
Right.
And he has this initiative called Safe Streets, which is way beyond stop and frisk.
Yeah, they even say that.
His task force has free reign to attack, to use lethal force on anyone they feel is a vigilante. Yep. He does martial law, a curfew at 8 o'clock, an 8 o'clock curfew in the city that never sleeps. What are you, nuts?
As soon as he said that, I'm like, but what about all the people that work?
Yeah.
Like, how is that?
And so every bar closes at 8 now?
Yeah.
Like, people are just now getting to the bar. Like,
yeah. Like, how is that going to work?
And Yankee Red Sox games that go till 12:30, what are they going to all do? Stay in Yankee Stadium?
Yeah.
Broadway
shows are all closed down.
Yeah. It's like
you've just single-handedly decimated the economy of New York City. Yeah. But, okay.
But he's going to make billions off of Red Hook by bringing everything in.
Right.
So he got what he wanted. Fisk ultimately got what he wanted. He got his wife back. He's got this cash register in the middle of the bay. He's got an army around him. He's got almost complete autonomy in the mayor's office. And the slow rollout of every little thing as he was going through this, and him, what is her name? Everybody talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Is it Sheila? Is it Sheila? Yeah. Yes. His campaign manager, that is his chief of staff. Sheila, where did it go?
Now
I have totally messed up IMDb.
Moved way past it.
It's gone. It's all gone. Well, it updated while we were on here. That's what happened. That's fun.
Sheila Rivera. There we go. Riviera.
It's way over there. So, him asking her, everybody who's loyal to me, tell everybody else to go home.
Yeah.
And then they're going to call the press conference in the morning, and Daniel, Michael Gandolfini's character, is kind of like pushing his way into her spot, but her being kind of like, yes, I'm loyal. I will. Yes, I know who's loyal, because she's always the one that's questioning Fisk.
Right.
She's always like, there's all these things we have to do and whatever. And so when he decides to do this Safer Streets initiative, she pushes back against it, especially since it goes to the city council, and he sends Daniel and Book to go handle the city council, and she's like, you could see it in her face. She's very much surviving.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Yes. She does not agree with any of it. But now she definitely knows what happens if you aren't on his side, because when she's leaving, when he tells her to go tell everybody who's not loyal to me to go home, the chief of police stops her in the hallway, and he's like, same team. And she records the whole conversation, and then ultimately turns it over to Fisk, and stands outside the door while he's listening to the recording, and she's like crying. So, she didn't, she's not Michael Gandolfini's character, where he's like kind of like his scruples and morals are all out the window. Yeah. She's still got morals. She's just trying to stay alive, and then ultimately, Fisk rips his head literally in half.
Yeah.
And the cops in the room are like trying not to puke. That was awesome.
That was awesome. Like, I love that they...
You don't believe that he smashed a guy's head in a car door? Well, he's going to rip a guy's head in half with his hands.
Yeah, and he, like, daps his mouth like he had just finished, a spaghetti dinner or whatever, and then his forehead. Any questions? Like, Vincent needs an Emmy nomination for this season. He's so good. Every time he does that fake smile, I love New York. Just just put that on, like, every time he does it, just do a reel of that and send that to the Emmys. So we've talked about her, we've talked about Fisk, we've talked about all of that. Buck, and not Book. Buck is Kingpin's
right-hand man,
wet person, wet work person.
Well, so is Fisk now.
Yeah. Fisk tells him to go take care of if Matt Murdock dies succumbing to his wounds, he's a hero. And Buck's like, I understand. He shows up at the hospital with a syringe and stands at the door, and then all the power goes out, and he's like sitting there looking at his watch. And Matt, being Matt, knew his footsteps coming down the hall, so he got away. And Matt goes back to his apartment.
Yep.
When he goes in, he's in his robe with the blood seeping through, goes over, sits down on the couch, and the camera, he leans back and the camera pulls back away from him, and Matt's just like, "You're the last person I expected to be here," and Frank's standing in the kitchen.
Yep.
And
bitching that he does not have proper end of the world provisions in his apartment for him.
That was where I was going. Like, this man is after my own heart. What do you mean you don't have coffee? The power's out. How are we supposed to have coffee? Frank mentions that he got a phone call to come collect Matt and protect him.
Right.
Now, there is a wild, rampant speculation on the internet that has not been, does not calm down at all, that Foggy is not really dead.
Right.
Because the apartment that they step out of, the office that they step out of, coincides with the issue where Foggy fakes his death in the comics.
Right.
And there's a whole bunch of other stuff that it's kind of been... I don't know if it's intentional Easter egging, but there's been definitely some things where they've mentioned stuff or had things happen where it's not necessarily that Foggy is dead. So when Frank says, "I got a phone call," I turn to her and I'm like, "You got a phone call? Is this when they're gonna do it?" No, it's Karen.
Yeah, no, I knew it was Karen.
And it makes complete sense for Karen, because I think Foggy, if Foggy is really alive, he is in deep hiding because he knows.
Well, yeah, and Foggy's not going to go to Frank. Karen's going to go to Frank.
Karen's going to go to Frank
because they had a connection. She's the one that connected with him, found the pictures of his family in his house and everything. Yeah. So yeah, it was totally going to be Karen.
Yeah, and it makes complete sense. I was projecting because I wanted to see Foggy. Because I wanted the internet to go, "Oh my God, he wasn't dead. What? How does that happen?" Comics, people, comics. Wilson got shot in the face, got a replacement eye. Like, just
right.
Right. What ensues is the task force showing up in their Frank Castle cosplay, and getting their ass beat by 45% Daredevil and Frank, who is pulling 0 punches.
Yeah. No, Frank is he doesn't pussyfoot around.
He was on 11 for that whole thing.
Yeah, and I get that Matt has like these, I don't know, morals,
right?
but the when they were, Matt was gonna save the guy who killed what was his name, Ramirez,
Iago, yeah.
The White Panther,
yeah,
White Tiger, he was, he knocked him out, and Frank pinned his hand to the wall with a sword or a knife, but Matt just knocked him out, and he wasn't, Frank was gonna kill him, and Matt's like, "No, we're not doing that," and I'm like, why at this point? I get before that I'm a lawyer and the law is gonna work, but there is no law in this city.
Yep.
Like, there is nothing that's going to happen to this
And he's
person.
the law enforcement who came in and shot up his place and started, came in guns a-blazing first.
Yeah. So
yeah.
There's no other way to do this. Like, he's not going to go through the courts. He's not going to go to jail.
And Karen points that out. That Fisk has the courts. He's got an army. He's got the police.
Yeah.
So how?
So saving them, not killing them. I mean, these are really bad people. So if you don't take Frank's way, then they're just going to be out there doing it some more as soon as they heal up.
Yeah, and that's the thing that is both intriguing but also frustrating when it comes to Daredevil.
Yeah,
is that he does have this Catholic guilt hanging over his head this entire time, and he believes in the law, and so he always wants to do the right to have the system do what it's supposed to do,
right.
and he always has faith that the good will prevail and everything. And that was what the system episode was pointing that out to Matt, that the system is messed.
Yeah,
it's totally screwed up.
Yeah, and now it's even worse. I mean, it's now nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing, and so I get that he's still carrying that with him. That's not something you just turn off all of a sudden, especially after he has his whole thing with Karen towards the end of the episode, where he was, after Foggy dies, he's talking about how he thought that Daredevil was just a persona that he took on, and to make things better, and it's more part of him than he ever really realized.
Yeah.
And so that part of him, of trying to subdue people who are doing bad things, and not finishing the job on some of the people who need to be finished,
right?
It is, and that's the difference between Matt and Frank. That's the whole conversation they have in the Netflix series. That's the whole episode, the whole conversation they had in the episode 3 or whatever.
Yeah,
like that will be an ongoing thing with Matt. And I don't think he will ultimately succumb to that, because that's just his character. That's how his character is written.
Yeah.
But it's constantly a conflict.
Right.
And so I really appreciated that they took that moment where Frank had killed everybody that he fought, and Daredevil only incapacitated those others.
Although now it doesn't matter.
And now it doesn't matter because they blew up his apartment. It was a bitchin' apartment. You know how much penthouse apartments are in New York City? Like, come on. The other thing about that fight was, they've been talking about, when they were promoting this series, I think 8 years ago. No, 8 weeks ago. It felt like 8 years ago when this show started. A few months ago. One of the things they said was they're going to turn it up violence-wise, from the Netflix series. And so when they introduced Muse, I thought that that's where that violence was going to come.
Yeah.
And we got a little hint of it, like a little snippet of it, but not nearly what I thought we were going to get. And so I was like, I won't say disappointed. Like I'm not gonna say I was disappointed in what they had done so far. Like that's the thing. But I expected something else. And so when they get to Frank in full Frank mode, and shoving the knife into the side of the neck and then pulling it out through the throat, and letting the blood splatter go across the screen. Oh, this is what they were talking about.
Yeah. The last 20 minutes of this episode were pretty heavy, pretty gruesome.
Pretty gruesome. I'm not squeamish when it comes to that kind of thing, and so I don't want to say it was cool, because it shouldn't be cool watching cops being killed on TV. But I'm going to say it was cool because I like watching bad guys getting killed on TV.
Right. They're not. I mean, they're cops in name only.
Yeah.
They're not cops. They're not.
Yeah.
They're bad guys.
Karen picks them up. They have a confab and sewing everybody's wounds back up in Frank's man cave. And then Karen says that we have all the stuff for Foggy, for the firm at the storage unit still. And Frank stays behind. Karen calls him out about not caring, which I love that Karen's always the one kind of calling him on his bull. They go back to the storage unit, and they find the file that says that the Freeport, the Red Hook is the Freeport,
right? And
that Foggy thought he was doing something cool, but then Vanessa kind of already knew, and nobody else could really know about that because everything they were doing was technically legal in the legal identity, whatever. And so let's go to the Freeport. Let's go to Red Hook. Frank gets there first and just walks in the door and starts just wrecking guys.
I don't know what he thought. I mean, I guess I do. But Frank, it's like 1 against 30.
Right.
40.
Right.
Like,
and he was wrecking shop. It took three shotgun shots to the back.
Yeah.
To knock him off his feet finally before they could get to him.
I mean, he's got a vest on, but
yeah, but still, shotgun at 10 feet. And it's gonna ow. That was another scene that was just obnoxiously brutal.
Yeah.
He had a hatchet and a Bowie knife and a pistol and a shotgun and it was just everything. When Matt and Karen get there, this is one of those storytelling points that I wish they had like a post-episode breakdown like they do with Last of Us or House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Karen and Matt get there. Karen and Daredevil. He's in the Daredevil outfit. And Karen explains it's crawling with the task force members. And Matt's like, I'm going to go in there and take care of this. And Karen stops him and says, "You're going to die. Is this what you want? Do you want to die?" And that scene specifically, to me, feels like they realized later on that they needed to add something there. Because normally it's not something I really recognize. And I could be completely wrong. And this is one of those, like, I want to see the podcast version where they talk about this, this decision making, is they need to have that moment. They have to have that moment where somebody tells Matt, if you do what you're going to do by yourself right now, you're going to die, and Fisk wins.
Yeah.
And so bringing Karen back, who's one of the few people left in this world who could actually get to Matt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if at what point in time they realized they had to have that scene.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying. It was a little jarring, maybe, that they're just like all this other stuff is going on. You've got, Fisk and Vanessa, and you've got Frank, getting beat up, and you've got like the whole thing with the city is like
on fire.
and they're sitting there on a rock.
Yeah.
Like talking. I get that, but I do feel I mean I agree that at some point she was gonna have to be the one to point out to him, because nobody's been able to up until now, because there's nobody new except the one cop guy, and that wasn't working out. So that conversation did have to happen, and that's really the only place that it could have.
Yes, but the one reason why I say it feels a little out of place is that you have this shot of Matt and Karen in the rocks, and the lighting, there's like a floodlight like behind the camera. Mm-hmm. But there's no light on the actual, like, there's no flooding of the light onto the dock of the ship or anything beyond that. And it's, I'm a lighting guy. I'm not a lighting person in real. I like lighting in movies and stuff. Roger Deakins is a god. So when I see something that's very much out of place like that, it catches my eye. It for me, it's not dialogue, it's not special effects that catches my eye. It's lighting, stuff like that.
Okay. And I didn't really notice that.
There's one set of lighting that's very white, and on the rocks here, there should be some overlay onto everything else. And then they do this shot where they are showing the blacked out city and everything that's going on while Matt's talking about, like, when I have my eyes closed, it's like 1,000 stars or whatever, and they're showing the city, and then that mash cut to the daylight was just a great shot. So I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, like, I would like to know when they decided to do this scene, because they know they have to have it. Matt says we need an army.
Yep.
We will get into that in a second. Vanessa and Fisk show up and walk down their caged billionaires row.
Yeah.
Swordsman is in there. A couple other people are in there. One of them flips him off. The woman from the Meet the Mayor party, where she's like, "We're the ones in charge" and whatever. Mm-hmm. And then at the mayor event where Matt gets shot. She's all afraid. She was in there. And then Frank's in a cage. So Frank's alive. There was a post-credit scene where Frank gets talking to one of the guys and goes to shake his hand and breaks his arm, and that's how Frank's going to get out.
Frank gets out.
Frank being zip tied to the chair. I want to get back to this. Frank getting zip tied to the chair with the super industrial zip ties, and then kind of getting like, "You can come join us. We really appreciate everything that you do. We look up to you."
And he's like, "You have no freaking idea what I stand for. You're all a bunch of knobs."
I bring that up because they are doing like a Werewolf by Night one-off like super episode mini movie of Frank on Disney Plus. That's that John Bernthal is actually helping write because he knows the character so well at this point. And I think that's going to be addressing a lot of this because I expected Frank to kind of go off on this dialogue heavy, you have no idea why I do this. You just see the violence that I do. And he didn't really do it. He just kind of like, you have no idea why I do this. I'm not going to join you guys. You guys are a bunch of posers.
Yeah.
And so that's all important. Matt and Karen have their talk in Josie's storeroom, where Karen's kind of talking about we love you because of the light, because of the dark, because of all the things or whatever.
Yep.
He puts his mask on, they open the sliding doors, and now they're in Josie's, and now everyone but Heather is in there. There's a couple of cops in there. Josie's there. So he like, I am ready to fight, and if I'm going to fight, I'm going to need people in a similar fight. You are the first people.
Yeah, these are the initial people that he knows he can trust.
Yes. And then they do a really cool shot of going outside of Josie's, and she said a couple episodes ago about reopening the place, and so there's newspaper and stuff boarding up the windows or whatever, but there's a hole, and the camera follows into the hole, and Daredevil's standing there, and then the red light starts flickering, and then fade to black. And so we have a big battle for New York, not Avengers big battle for New York coming.
Right.
And so while they were doing the walking down the aisle, when Vanessa and Wilson were walking down the aisle, I was pointing out people who will be in the Daredevil army. Swordsman's there, Frank's there, and then as he was talking more and more about we need to come together, we need to be the ones who help bring the city back. They showed Michael Gandolfini. They showed Selena, who's still reeling from her decisions. I think she will be like a secret member of the army at some point in time. They showed Iola, the White Tiger's niece, which we know she has the amulet. Okay, we think she has the amulet. So her being there makes a lot of sense. There's a team up in the comics, so there's precedence for that. So, who's in New York, street level, who would come to Matt's side and be there with him?
All of the Defenders.
All of the Defenders.
Yeah.
And they showed Poindexter, too. I would not be surprised because he's going to want vengeance on Vanessa and Fisk.
Yeah.
But all of the Defenders are on the board. Now, there's been talk that there's possibly each of them showing up in season 2. Christian Ritter was spotted in New York like a month ago. And so the speculation was starting to like really ramp up, especially after people were starting to see Marvel Avengers showing up in London
right
ahead of Doomsday being filmed. And that's why they kind of did that chair thing. Is this like, okay, stuff's going to get out. Let's get ahead of it a little bit kind of thing. So you have Daredevil, you have BB, you have Sheila, you have Poindexter, you have the White Tiger, and then you have Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Danny Rand. I wonder if we get Hendricks, Jessica Hendricks, who is the love interest for Danny Rand. Her real name is Hendricks.
Oh.
I'm trying to remember what her first name is, but like they're in New York. Do we get Spider-Man? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I don't think so. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, he is a. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's put it that way. But I'm not expecting it or whatever. And then I'm sure there'll be a bunch of other characters that we haven't thought of that we don't know who could be there. Like if we go across the bay, does Miss Marvel show up?
Miss Marvel could show up. Kate Bishop could show up.
Bishop show up. Like they're doing their own thing with the champions. Like so, there's kind of a interesting conversation to be had with all of that. Yep. But like we said earlier, we really loved this season. I would like to rewatch it. However, we're doing Last of Us. We're doing Doctor Who. Andor starts next week. We have one movie a week for the next 17 weeks in a row. We're going to Phoenix Fan Fusion, a baseball game, Portland, we're moving.
A couple things.
It's fine. All between now and mid-July. And San Diego Comic-Con in the end of July.
If you can get a room.
If I can get a room. We'll see. So what I'm saying is thank you for watching along with us with the Daredevil series. We will pick it back up when it comes back. We're doing, like I said, Last of Us weekly talks like this, Doctor Who. We'll be doing Andor. Andor's going to be a little interesting with 3 episodes a night.
Yeah. It's going to be rough.
So please follow us here on Spotify and on YouTube. We've now started doing video on Spotify. You can listen to this the audio only, or you can watch us on Spotify. I love technology when I can figure it out. And so follow us here. Subscribe here, hit the bell for notifications, and then you can follow us on all the social media stuff. Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok. I'm writing for the Geekery. All of that information is in the description down below. What a good season. I am exhausted. I need a whiskey and a whiskey. And until next time, cult members, good afternoon, good evening, and good night now.